Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth. I am a 37-year-old attorney living in the DC area with my husband. I just had to remember to update my intro because I just had a birthday not too long ago. So for today's video, I'm going to be filming what I will refer to as my Pat McGrath glitch haul. So as you may have heard, Pat McGrath had a 50% off sale on her website for a few hours about a month ago. So I took advantage of that and I placed an order. And I also placed an order for a couple of the Pat McGrath Bridgerton lipsticks. I ended up getting 3. So I'll explain why I ended up with 3 in a few moments. But anyway, I thought it would be fun to share with you what I picked up and to demo some of these products on my face. Basically filming a full face of Pat McGrath with a few exceptions. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to subscribe and keep watching. I'll go ahead and share with you what I purchased during the glitch sale. So I did get a new Mothership palette that I had my eye on. I got the Bronze Seduction palette, and I think the normal retail price of this is $125. For whatever reason, it was marked down to $94 at the time of the sale, so I think it was actually like $47 for half off. I know some people went nuts and basically purchased either all the Pat McGrath Motherships or at least the ones they didn't have. This is my second Pat McGrath Mothership palette. I had previously purchased the Divine Rose, but that was the only other one. So I picked this one up. It's one I had my eye on for a while. I think it was like an Allure Best of Winter one year, and it's kind of one of the more neutral color stories. I think with this one though, I will keep it in this packaging. Part of what kind of turned me off of purchasing more Motherships, not only the price, but also as beautiful as the packaging is, there's really kind of no distinguishing between the different palettes just based on the outside. So you really have to kind of either open them or try to look at that tiny sticker on the bottom. So this one I will probably keep in the cardboard. So I'll just quickly show you my Divine Rose, and basically what I did with this one is I cut out the shades on this little card so they would fit like inside the mirror portion, so I can keep track of the shades. So I kind of wish that I kept the original Divine Rose box, but I didn't. So with this one, I will hold on to the box, I think. So at least I'll have that kind of distinguishing factor. Although it does kind of make it less convenient to just grab and dig into when you have to kind of take it out of the box. And I also got the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. So this was, I think it was marked down to $51. So this was also on sale from its normal price of $68. And by the way, I think Pat McGrath is currently doing like a 25% off sale of her quote-unquote backstage essentials. So this is one of those products. So it's not as good a deal as what I paid, but it's something. So if you were interested in this foundation, it is now 25% off. But I paid half of 51, so I think that works out to like $26, something like that. So hopefully I picked a good shade. So I picked Light 2, and it does have really kind of luxe packaging. I haven't played with this at all yet. So hopefully this works out well for me. I know Patty Alonso, who has dry skin, really loves this foundation. So I hope that this is a good match for me. I previously purchased the Pat McGrath concealers in both L1 and L2, and when I swatched these on my cheek when I was ordering, I thought L2 was a little bit of a better match, so I went off of that and hopefully it will serve me well. I think the description on the website said that this was light with like neutral yellow undertones, and I'm much more neutral leaning cool, so we'll see how this does. But anyway, I will be trying that out. And then to go with the Bronze Seduction palette, I finally picked up the Intensifies Artistry Wand. And I really do like the Egyptian iconography that Pat McGrath uses. So I have used this once. I used it with the, I think it was the Divine Rose palette, some of the kind of astral shades in that. And I think it did help bring those shades to life, but I think it also maybe removed some of the shadow underneath. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about this, but I have used it once before. So I will use it today with the Bronze Seduction palette. And then I also got another one of the Divine blushes. This is in the shade Flirtatious. This is one that I had my eye on for a while. And this was just the normal price of $38, but with the 50% off discount, it was down to $19, which I thought was pretty great for a high-end blush. If I can get it open. Again, with these products, there's no kind of real distinguishing between the different shades, which is kind of annoying, but anyway, that is a kind of neutral shade, so I'll be trying that as well. I did film a haul demoing 3 of the blushes when these first launched. I think I had Cherish, Divine Rose, and Nymphette, I think it was. So if you want to see those swatched on a fair skin tone, I will link that video for you. And then the other item I purchased were these Love and Lust gloss duos. So these are in her kind of annoying packaging with the sequins in it. So this has the shades Flesh Fantasy and Flesh 6. And I do actually have those shades already. I have the full size of the Flesh Fantasy and a mini of the Flesh 6. So I might just use these today for the demo. Basically, I purchased these because they are these cute little, go ahead and dig into it here. These cute little heart-shaped glosses, and I have what I refer to as a beauty closet, which is basically like a Billy bookcase from IKEA with like a windowed portion on the top half, and I just like to display seasonal items. So I thought this would be really cute for like a little Valentine's Day addition to that display. I mean, these are really tiny though. I don't think I realized how tiny they would be. Not the most practical application, but you know, I do really like her gloss formula. So these are really cute. This was $29 for the 2 of these, and it was half off, so I figured why not. I think that is it for my glitch haul. So I think I spent, I want to say about $125. So basically the cost of a mothership, but I got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items with it, so I thought that was pretty good. And then the last item was this gift with purchase. So I think if you spent like $75 or something, you got this Extreme Precision Eye Duo, and this includes her mini Dark Star mascara and a precision liquid eyeliner. So I had wanted to try her Dark Star mascara. I've tried her other one, was it Fetishize mascara, and I didn't like that one, but I will be trying this today, and I can try the eyeliner as well, although I'm not like a huge liquid eyeliner fan or aficionado, so you can take what I think about the liner with a grain of salt. So I think everyone was kind of filming these like emergency Pat McGrath videos when this glitch sale happened, trying to get the word out, and people were unsure whether their orders would be fulfilled or not. Mine luckily was. I heard some people say that if they emailed customer service asking about the status of their order, that it would be canceled. So Pat McGrath just really needs to figure out her website and fulfillment services. But I ordered this in the evening of March 16th, and I got the shipping notification on March 29th. So almost 2 weeks of kind of being in limbo as to whether I would get this order or not. Once I do get a shipping notification, I actually receive it pretty quickly, so I don't know if it's one of those cases where the package is already kind of in the system and on its way to you when you do get that shipping notification. But this was delivered to me on March 30th. So yeah, I was just kind of sitting tight, waiting to see what would happen. I did hear that some people were starting to get those shipping notifications, so I had hope. But anyway, while that order was still pending, the Bridgerton Part 2 collection launched, and I believe that was on March 24th. So I ordered 2 lipsticks, but I ordered them at different times of day because I was originally trying to be good and only picking up one. So the first lipstick I ordered was the shade Veiled Rose. And I ordered this at about 10:15 the day that it launched, so about 45 minutes after it went live. And that was on March 24th, shipped on March 31st, so I think that's about a week, give or take. I got that notification like at 2:19 a.m. in the morning. So anyway, so I ordered that in the morning, and then I was kind of stewing on it for a while, and I decided to purchase Nude Romantique 2. So I ordered that at about 4 p.m. I didn't get a shipping notification for that until April 5th at 7:18 in the evening. So ordered 2 different lipsticks on the same day, about like 6-7 hours apart, and they shipped like 5 days apart. So I don't know kind of what normal fulfillment centers look like. I know with new collections there tends to be a large volume of orders coming in at once, but it just seemed a bit odd. But anyway, I got my Veiled Rose lipstick in, but when I got the second delivery, I realized that it was not the correct item. So again, I had ordered Nude Romantique 2, and they had sent me the shade Infatuation. So I'll go ahead and swatch these for you. Basically, these are the, I think, first 3 blue lipsticks. I didn't order any of the peach lipsticks, and I didn't order the Elson shade, like their red shade. So Veiled Rose was the first one that I ordered, which looks like that. And then the second one that I ordered, but not the second one that I received, was the shade Nude Romantique 2, which I haven't even worn yet. So a little bit peachier than the first one. And then the last one was the shade Infatuation. I do actually like this color. The first one, again, was called a mid-tone mauve pink. Nude Romantique was a cool neutral pink nude, and Infatuation was a vivid cool tone berry pink. So the reason I went with the first 2, even though I do like the color Infatuation, was that I was going to the Bridgerton ball, the Queen's Experience in DC, and I wanted to use the eye palette that I purchased from the original Bridgerton collection, and I just thought the 2 more nude shades would look better with that eye palette. But when I got my package in, instead of Nude Romantique 2, I got Infatuation. And interestingly enough, the actual packing slip here was not for my order. It was for a Leslie Martin in Los Angeles, California. And she had ordered a lipstick in the shade Negligee, which was in the peach cases. I don't think the outer packaging was different between the blue and the peach, so the person packing it probably wouldn't have like instantly seen it. But I just thought it was really interesting that the packing slip had an entirely different lipstick than the one that was in the box, and then my label was somehow slapped on top. So again, I think Pat McGrath just really needs to sort out her whole website ordering experience. And I did email customer service asking them to send me the correct shade that I had ordered, and I let them know that the packing slip I had gotten wasn't even for my order. And you know, the return label would have been from like a Los Angeles address, that kind of thing. So they asked me to send them a picture, I think, of like the lipstick I received or the packing slip, which I did, and they were like, okay, and they sent me out the correct shade, and that shipped pretty quickly. So I ended up getting a free lipstick out of the deal, but it was just a little bit annoying that, and I understand that they need to like verify that there are problems with an order so they don't lose money on people lying to them. But I specifically included with my email the order number on the packing slip, which was obviously an order belonging to someone else. So, you know, it was fine. They resolved it. They sent me a lipstick, and now I have 3 instead of 2. So it's just, it is what it is. And I did manage to get the 10% off that they usually offer when those collections go live. Interestingly enough, so this lipstick retails for $28, so I got 10% off of $28. If you are totally opposed to purchasing from Pat McGrath's website, it will be on the Sephora website on April 22nd. but it appears that it will be $32. So you don't get the like 10% off discount, but then they also have it marked up like $4. So that just seems really strange to me. So I guess the takeaway, if I'm going to offer one, is that it's usually to your financial benefit to purchase from Pat McGrath directly, but just be prepared to deal with some frustration along the way. So if you're willing to deal with that frustration for a lower cost, then by all means go with Pat McGrath. If you want a smoother customer experience, maybe purchase from Sephora. There are quite a number of pieces that Sephora doesn't seem to carry though from Pat McGrath, so sometimes it seems like your only option really is to go with Pat McGrath. For example, there was a lip kit that Sephora may have carried at one point, but I don't know if they don't carry all of their like older products. But anyway, it was the lip that Nicole Kidman wore to the Oscars, and I saw the Oscars and I was like enamored with her lipstick, and I found out that it was a Pat McGrath lip kit. So it's one of those cases where I don't want to shell out full price for it, but if Pat McGrath offers, say, 30% off on the entire website in the future, I'll probably pick it up. I did check to see if it was included in her current sale of like backstage essentials, but it wasn't. So I think I mentioned that the foundation is included and the primer is also included. I'm just starting to apply this First Aid Beauty coconut skin priming moisturizer while I'm talking. I think the primer is included, but I think I remember when that first came out that people were just kind of, I guess, ambivalent about the primer. Like they didn't say that it did anything amazing. And I think most people said that the packaging was really kind of subpar, especially when you compare it to the foundation, which is in this really kind of luxe glass bottle with the label and the cap and everything. The primer just seemed to be kind of like in a cheap plastic container. So I would get the primer just to kind of, I guess, recreate some like red carpet looks, like a lot of makeup artists that used Pat McGrath obviously used it, and the makeup artist for the season 2 of Bridgerton also used a lot of Pat McGrath products. So like the primer and that like dual-ended highlighter I might pick up if they were on a good sale, just for, I don't know, my curiosity or future videos or whatnot. But it's not something I desperately need, especially for full price. So I just applied the Charlotte Tilbury corrector. I don't think Pat McGrath makes a corrector, so I always go in with some kind of corrector underneath my eyes. And then for the moment of truth here, I'm going to apply this foundation. So give it a good shake. I do really like Pat McGrath's aesthetic, especially like the black and the gold. It's just a matter of whether the product will work. Okay, so let's see. It's like a little yellow. It's a very thin foundation, which I kind of knew going in. Do I want to use a sponge with this? I guess I'll use my beauty blender on this side, which is probably going to shear out the coverage quite a bit. I'm sure you've seen this foundation before, but you can kind of see it's not running down my hand because I have obviously removed a good bit of it. It's pretty light coverage. Okay, so I think on the other side, I might distribute with the brush. So I just have this Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. So I think because it is a lighter coverage, I think the shade actually works out pretty well. I think sometimes when you first kind of pump out a foundation, it can be a little scary because the pigment and the undertone is concentrated. So far I like it though. It kind of reminds me a bit of the new NARS foundation. I think it might be a bit thinner than the NARS. Okay, I think that's definitely something I can work with, which is good. So I think before I apply the concealer, I will swatch both shades on my hand here. So this is L2, which seems much peachier actually than the foundation in L2. And then L1. All right, so I guess from my thumb to my pinky, we have the foundation in L2, the concealer in L2, and the concealer in L1. Isn't that strange? Let me kind of squirt out a bit more. Doesn't it look like the L1 concealer and the L2 foundation go together? The concealers are not new, by the way. I've had them for a while, so I suppose there's a chance that something, you know, has happened over time. Let's see what the Pat McGrath website says. And I have noticed that there's a slight discrepancy between how brand websites describe a product and like Sephora's website, for example. They have some kind of shade finder, and then they have before and afters on the Pat McGrath website. So light 1, they describe as lightest with pink undertones, and light 2, they describe as light with neutral yellow undertones. And then light 3 is light with yellow. So it's always tricky because, again, different brands skew different ways in terms of their foundation ranges. So sometimes a cool toned or pink toned product will end up looking kind of orange on me, but I don't want to go too yellow either. So the concealer, light 1 is lightest with pink undertones, and light 2 is light with neutral yellow. I don't think this looks very neutral yellow to me. Okay. So, I don't know. It's just a struggle, I think, is the moral of the story here. So although I did choose light 2 in the foundation, I think I just swatched it on my cheek and kind of blended it out. I think I will go in with light 1 for the concealer, because I think this concealer is just a better match for this shade of the foundation, which is weird. If I didn't have a corrector down, maybe having something a little bit peachier would be helpful. So this is not my favorite concealer, I'll just say that. Like I said, I have had this for a while and I just don't really love it, but you saw me spread it out with my finger, and I'm going to blend it with my beauty blender. I'm trying to think why I don't like this. I think it just looks a tad bit heavy is really what it comes down to. Yeah, just a tad heavier than I like. So I do have the Pat McGrath Blurring Under Eye Powder. Again, I've had this for a while and I just haven't totally fallen in love. I think I might actually use this little Say brush that I got during the Sephora sale. This product does kind of kick up a ton of powder. And it has that tiny mirror in there, which I just don't understand because, I mean, you can barely fit one eyeball in it when you look. So yeah, not my favorite. This is a nice little brush. I haven't tried any of the Pat McGrath brushes. I do like the look of them, but I haven't tried them, so let me know if you have. I haven't heard anyone rave about them, let's say that. I'm going to go ahead and use this Say Loose Powder that I picked up in the Sephora VIB sale haul. Have used it a few times. I think it should work nicely with this product. I wouldn't be mad actually if Say came out with a pressed powder version of this, because I don't know, I just find loose powder to be kind of annoying. And I just realized I forgot to contour. Okay, so we might be skipping on contour for today. Okay, I do have, it looks like a little blemish down here that I might want to put some concealer on. I think I might use L2. I should have done this before I powdered, but hopefully since it's just a tiny little spot that it won't kind of disrupt too much. And I did use a clear brow gel earlier today, but I'm hoping I don't feel too stiff. I'm just going to run this. All right, and then for bronzer before blush, I'm going to apply the Gucci bronzer. using my Refer number 22 brush, which I think is still 40% off, which is a great time to pick up this brush. It's still, you know, a little bit more expensive, but you know, it's pretty much the only bronzer brush I use, and it is, I think, all natural hair. So I think it's worth investing in while it's 40% off. And then for blush, another one of my Refer favorites is the number 5 brush. And I'm just going to take a paper towel. I think I got off most of the pigment there. So this blush that I have is the shade Flirtatious, which is a little bit of a lighter nude color. So let's see how this does. Ooh, okay. I think it shows up more than I thought it would. Even on my skin tone, I was worried that it would be a bit light, but I think this is a really pretty kind of natural nudie blush. Very happy with that. Okay, so let's do some highlighter. So I'm just going to dig back in with the Bridgerton highlighter from the first release, and I'm trying to go into like the same spot so I don't kind of disrupt too much of the embossing. Still not my favorite shade of highlighter. I do like that this is magnetic rather than the like push button that the blushes have. All right, so let's zoom you in for the eyes. Okay, so I am going to start off with an eyelid primer. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty one. All right, so once the primer is applied, I just like to go over it with some kind of dusting of powder, either a shadow or a face powder. So I'm going to use the LYS translucent powder and the Sigma Large Fluff E50. And then for the palette herself, so I'll go ahead and remove the plastic. And I think there's one on the inner mirror as well. So you guys get two peelings here. I do really love these beveled mirrors. I think they just look really cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this palette. So I think I'm gonna start off with the Sonia G Mini Booster and go into that matte shade to begin. I don't really have a plan in mind here, but I will use that Artistry Wand and one of the Astral shades. The thing about these palettes is that they are a little heavy, so I feel like my arm is getting a bit of a workout. Okay, I'm actually gonna go in next with the Classic Crease in that same shade. I just wanted to get a feel for, yeah, you can see where I just kind of piled that on, but a good matte shade should be able to kind of blend, especially when I set down the primer. All right, so before I blend that out a little bit more, I'm going to take this flat definer brush from Sonia G, going into that same shade. And I usually like to put some eyeshadow on the lower lash line because it just helps the concealer from creasing. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take this mini booster and go into the darker brown. Focus that on the outer corner. I have to say that I would not recommend Pat McGrath's formula for a beginner because A, the price point. I think if you are just getting started in makeup I think you'll probably have better luck with other shadows and you're just wasting your money. So I'm just going in with this MAC 224 brush. This was like a limited edition, and the LYS translucent powder again to kind of blend. So yeah, I think you'd be wasting your money. I think you would have kind of a difficult time of it. By the same token, if you are more experienced with makeup and you like highly pigmented shadows, then you might be a little frustrated with, you know, some of the lesser pigmented shadows on the market. But you can still find good pigment in some lower priced options. I kind of feel like there are the palettes I'll reach for when I just want something quick going out the door, and then those that I'll reach for if I have some time to actually spend on perfecting the shadows. Okay, so I'm really curious about how this shade will show up. So I'm just going to use my Chikuhodo GSN 9. Okay. Yeah, so these shades that are not kind of the Astral shades, I'm usually a little kind of disappointed in from Pat McGrath. Usually leave me a little bit wanting. The, was it Voyeuristic Vixen Quad is another palette that I probably would have picked up if it had been in stock, but unfortunately it was not. I guess I'll go ahead and use this Artistry Wand from Pat McGrath before I kind of load on the other shade. So this is one of those click ups, so you want to be a little careful. In a way, this is kind of like recreating the tacky base of a primer after you've kind of blended out all your mattes. And I think I'll start off some mostly clean rougher number 21 brush. I'm gonna go into this kind of rosy shade. So this is just a dry brush, so we'll see how this does. And as I say in a lot of my swatch videos, where I try different application methods, I try fingers, I try wet brush, I try dry brushes. A lot of times I just kind of like to get the outlines of a shade and make sure I've kind of covered everything. And then if I need to go over it with a finger or a damp brush, then I can do that. So this is a really pretty shade. I almost wish those browns in this palette were a little bit warmer. This is called the Bronze Seduction palette, so when I hear Bronze Seduction, I think kind of summer shadows. All right, so I'm getting some fallout. I'm just gonna take this. This might be my Suku. Yeah, this is my Suku cheek brush. Not completely wiping away. All right, so I just dampened the brush with some of my Tarte Maracuja Miracle Mist. Going into that shade again. And I don't really mind too much if the shimmer gets a little high in the crease, because I have hooded eyes and it just, A, it helps that you can like see the shadow. Oh, I think this is actually coming to its end. All right, and then B, I'm gonna go into this shade with the same brush. It's just bound to happen anyway during the kind of wear process. Okay, so I think I've created a pretty kind of shimmery eye. I think this is kind of what Pat is known for, is these types of shades. So it's a very distinct look, and if you like this look, then I think Pat McGrath is a great brand to shop from. Again, I don't think it's the easiest palette to work with. It's not one that I'm likely to reach for unless I have a good bit of time. I think on the whole, I'm just glad that I only paid about $47 for it. I don't regret paying that much for it, but yeah, I think if you want to divide people into either the Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath camp, I think I would probably fall into the Natasha Denona camp based on my preferences with eyeshadow. So yeah, it's not something I think you need to rush out to buy, but if you haven't played with a mothership, I think it's worth at least experiencing one of them just to get a feel for her formula. And certainly if those go on sale for like $47 again, then by all means. Okay, so let's play with this liquid eyeliner. I think this is a felt tip. Again, not a huge liquid eyeliner person generally. I think that was pretty easy to get a good line though. It'd be nice if she came out with a brown version. So that is what the liner looks like swatched on my hand. I can see a tiny bit of migration into the lines on my hand, but not too bad. All right, so I inadvertently swooped up a bit there, so I guess I am doing a little bit of a wing. All right, so I think I'm just gonna leave it there and not try my luck too much. But again, from my kind of inexperienced eye, I think this is a decent liner. Again, I don't know if it's the best on the market. Probably isn't, but I've certainly tried worse. So, and it did remove pretty easily with a micellar wipe for what it's worth. Okay, so let's try this mascara. Like I said, I didn't have the best of luck with the other mascara from Pat McGrath. So it's a little big, but I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the lower lashes. I think I still prefer my Clinique bottom lash. And then I will use my Rephr lash curlers. I am using this for the first time today, so keep that in mind. It's a brand new tube, and I'm not going to be doing any kind of wear test or anything. So it's not building quite as much as I would like it to. Typically I do like a very kind of volumizing formula. I also like one that is waterproof. Okay, so having kind of a liquid liner does kind of throw off my perception of a mascara a little bit. But yeah, the reason I like a waterproof is that it really does help to hold the curl. But I might try this again with just a normal liner, or maybe after a week or so when it's had a chance to dry out a bit. So I'm happy I had the chance to try it, but again, I don't know that it's like a new favorite or anything. So I'll go ahead and try out these lip glosses. This is the shade Flesh Fantasy, and I do love the Pat McGrath lip gloss formula. I think it's definitely one of the standouts from her line. So I just think she has a really great range of colors, either kind of more opaque shades like this one, or shades that have a little bit more shimmer. And it's not sticky, you know, it feels good on the lips, it has kind of a sweet vanilla scent to it. So yeah, this is Flesh Fantasy. These glosses do go on sale quite often. I think they're definitely worth picking up when Pat McGrath has a sale. Okay, so the shade Flesh 6 is the next one. Also really pretty. With a lip gloss this pigmented, I would probably put it on over a lip liner, but I don't think you have to. And then for the lipsticks, so let's talk about these for a second before I apply them. So like I said, these retail for $28, and I know a lot of people have compared them to her lipsticks that look like this. So this is actually the Luxe Trance formula that I think has been discontinued. Interestingly enough, she has come out with the Matte Trance formula in the Bridgerton collection, so they have like that little icon, which was interesting because there were pictures that were leaked on Instagram like months ago, I think, that showed that packaging. So I don't think I have any of her Matte Trance lipsticks, but There are technically some in the Bridgerton collection if you are interested. So I was surprised that these were only $28, but they are, I think, only, what was it, 3.7 grams in this, and this is 4 grams. I'm not sure if the matte trans is also 4 grams, but anyway, this has more product. And I think the packaging on this just seems overall a little bit more kind of luxe. On this one, you have this gold ring around the top that seems like a different type of plastic. This just has that kind of printed gold. So I'm not saying one is good or bad, it's just interesting that they're different. So let's go ahead and apply Nude Romantique 2. So this is a very easy kind of My Lips But Better almost shade, I think. It's always a bit of a challenge when you're kind of removing products. Again, this is, I think, one that I would probably wear with a lip liner unless I just wanted like a really kind of natural look. I think it does go pretty well with this eye look. And then for Veiled Rose, a little bit pinkier. And then finally, Infatuation, which is definitely the, I guess, loudest lipstick, and this is the one that was accidentally sent to me. So I do like this color. It's just a little bit more kind of high maintenance than the others, and I would probably wear a lip liner with this one as well. All right, so now that the makeup is applied, I always feel like I look kind of washed out at the end. I'm gonna go back in with the blush. So that is it for my Pat McGrath Glitch / Bridgerton haul. I think on the whole, I'm most pleasantly surprised by the foundation. I think the shade is a good match, and I think it has a pretty finish. I mean, it is a thinner, kind of more lightweight foundation, which I think at the time it came out, a lot of people were just not expecting. I haven't tried the Lisa Eldridge foundation. I'm curious if anyone has kind of compared the two. It's always interesting to me what makeup artists envision as being their perfect foundation, because obviously they're used to applying makeup to a lot of different people in situations that demand a lot, like the red carpet and that kind of thing. So yeah, I do like this foundation. I'm definitely happy that I was able to get it at such a good price. And I think I will definitely be wearing it in the future. Also happy with the blush. I think this will be really nice for just kind of a natural everyday blush. It is more pigmented than I thought it might be in the pan, but being on camera, it just kind of eats up product like that. So I'm definitely happy I have this now in my collection. Again, I'm happy that I was finally able to pick this up. It is a pretty eye look. It's just a little bit more work, and I'm not always in the mood to struggle with my eyeshadow, but I do like to dip my toes into the Pat McGrath formula from time to time, so I'm glad I have that. The Artistry Wand. So I thought I would just quickly show you a little comparison here. So again, I'm happy that I was able to try this kind of in combination with some of these Mothership shadows. Again, I don't know that it's something you kind of need to run out to purchase. So I just tried to swatch the Artistry Wand on my hand, and then I swatched the same shade over it and then next to it. So that was actually the swatch without the Artistry Wand. I think it actually looks shinier. which is odd. So I'm not fully convinced that it adds anything, at least in a positive way. I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I picked it up just to kind of satisfy my curiosity. I don't think I would recommend that you would rush out and purchase it. And then the gloss duos, I very much love the Pat McGrath gloss formula, so I had both of those shades already. It was just kind of the novelty that caused me to purchase that heart-shaped packaging. I think out of these two, I would probably lean more towards the Flesh Fantasy, but I would recommend that you try out the Pat McGrath gloss formula in some size or shape when you have a chance. So I guess I kind of knew what I was getting when I purchased that. And the Precision Eye Duo, I like it. I like the liner. I don't typically wear black liquid liner all that often, so I'm not sure how much use I will get out of it, but I am glad that I was able to try the, was it Dark Star mascara? And it was free, so that's always a plus. For the lipsticks, I think that between the two I originally purchased, Veiled Rose and Nude Romantique 2, I probably only needed one of these, but I kept going back and forth, and I ultimately purchased the second one, as you heard. I am glad that I managed to get Infatuation. I was looking at this one, but it's getting on my teeth a little bit. But I was planning to wear one of these shades to the Bridgerton ball. I think I ultimately ended up wearing Infatuation, so just goes to show you. But I was a little worried about wearing a bolder color, so I am glad that I have all three, although as you heard, the customer service saga was a bit annoying. Okay, so yeah, that is everything. So let me know if you guys managed to pick up anything during the glitch haul or from the Bridgerton 2 collection. I've been watching the reviews of the palette, the blush palette, and the eyeshadow palette from the second half of the collection with great interest. If the second eyeshadow palette is still hanging around the Sephora website or the Pat McGrath website and there's another 20-30% off sale, I might be tempted, although I think 65 is a little steep for what you get with that eyeshadow packaging and everything. So if you didn't see my kind of haul and review of the first half of the Bridgerton collection, I will link that for you. But yeah, it's probably not worth buying at full price anyway. Okay, so that's gonna do it. I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.